Scientology, just in general. To be honest with you, I can't really get a clear, concise definition of what Scientology is. It's almost as if I even went on Wikipedia and everything, child. It's almost as if they beat around the bush and not direct about what the fuck it is. But from what I read, from the little bit that I've read, basically Scientology is something that is made up of a whole bunch of different religious, spiritual practices that were stolen and used for their own benefit. Whoever fucking created Scientology. It's almost as if there's like a little bit of Christianity practices in there, Satanism, spiritual beliefs. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, where did spiritual people get these beliefs from? Like, for example, I read that Scientologists believe in reincarnation. Most spiritual people do as well. And when I was watching spiritual people, one of the first things I was taught was reincarnation is real. And I do believe that it's real. But where has spiritual people gotten that ideology from? Rich Girl by John Oates and Daryl Hall. I don't know why I'm channeling that song though. But to be honest with you, I also read that one of their goals, Scientology, one of their goals is to achieve immortality, or at least they kind of like to think that they're immortal. You know, it's more of like a what's that saying? It's more of like a say it till I believe it. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's more of like that. And I feel like since I'm channeling this song, you know, you're a rich girl and you've gone too far, but you know it don't matter anyway. I feel like there is a spiritual shift going on with the Scientology, and I honestly feel like they're bored. Like, I feel like they may have honestly achieved the goal of immortality, and now they're like, what's next? Instead of, you know, just, I don't know, saying it until you believe it. I feel like it happened, and they're like, now what? Alright, current energy of the Scientologists. Currently, all of them. Hollywood Scientologists. When I think of the word Scientologist, I think of Tom Cruise. I don't know. Well, I know why, because, I mean, he's open about being into Scientology, but I don't know. Just every time I think of Scientology, I think of Tom Cruise. And I'm also plagued with this feeling like, what even is that? Like, what's the point? But it's just another religion. One of the over 4,000 religions that exist. That's a lot of religions. What's the current energy of Scientologists right now? God, show me. Oh, shit. The 8 of Swords. A lot of mental energy going on. 2 of Swords. You can never be strong. You can never be strong. Oh. To be honest with you, I think I pulled cards on them at kind of the wrong time, because it feels, I see them sacrificing something. To be honest with you, as we speak, they might even be holding a ritual. Because 2 cards here indicated that there's some sort of sacrifice going on. I'm recording this video on April 30th at 9:13 p.m. I don't know why I felt the need to say that. Alright, what's their current energy? Child, I have to keep pulling. I feel the need to keep pulling. What? Okay, okay, hold on. Y'all, I'm lost as fuck right now. Okay, so what's their current energy? Well, I see sexual energy, and I also see them having to answer to people. There's a need for spiritual balance, healing, introspection, and I did read that that's basically what they strive for. You know, they call it the reactive mind. You know, is where your response to trauma and emotional baggage is centered, and then they they learn how to basically heal from traumas, but they call it the reactive mind. I don't know, but I guess it's a mixture of spiritual beliefs and science. I guess that's why it's called Scientology. You know, they have a more scientific approach to the spirit realm or healing. That's fucking weird because, again, us outsiders, we're taught that there's a difference between the two. Right? Clear evidence that, you know, the higher ups, they believe in a fucking higher power. Well, to be honest with you, I don't even know if the creator of Scientology would be considered a higher up. I don't fucking know because we have a name and we have a face. At this point, would they be considered someone that's higher up? I don't know. I don't fucking know. But I see people, you know, doing introspection and healing, and they're looking up to somebody here, and it looks like it's a male. Some people, I feel like going against the grain. Some people, like I said before, like I see boredom, but I also see like individuals like feeling like they need to venture off and do something else. Like they don't like being a part of Scientology anymore. I see people doing that, but of course, you know, they grew accustomed to answering to someone, um, like their leader or whatever, this emperor. And I don't read reversals, but I have a feeling that if I did, the emperor would be in the reverse. And you don't want to be under the rule of an emperor in the reverse. Very manipulative, very cold hearted. That's an understatement of what the emperor in the reverse is. Very shit, like I don't fucking know. Like just very power hungry, very money hungry, very ego driven. It's not being under the rule of the emperor in the reverse is not a good thing, like at all. Like you would honestly be miserable. Like narcissists show up as the emperor in reverse. The king of cups too, but also the king of cups can also in the reverse could indicate like being a sociopath. But that's the energy of the science. Like it's like despite having these very difficult emotions and very weird, and I honestly feel like that has something to do with the eclipse energy. I do feel like they practice moonology, like I don't want to say moon magic because I didn't read that. I didn't read that that's what they practice, but just because it's not public record doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. But again, we're reading tarot and, you know, it's for entertainment purposes only. It's not factual. Wink. But I do feel like they do work with the moon, and regardless of if you're in Scientology or not, the moon affects our emotions. And it's even scientifically proven that the moon controls you know, the ocean, the waves of the ocean. And so our body is what, 70% water. So best believe your emotions are being ruled by the moon as well, because your body is made up of water. And if the moon controls the ocean, best believe that the moon can control you and your emotions. And that's not always a bad thing, honestly. The moon could honestly work in your favor. But I do believe that, you know, they have moon elements in their teachings, like spiritual moon, like something to do with the moon, right? But I honestly feel like the energy that's erupting in the Scientologists has to do with the eclipse energy. And I honestly feel like despite them not feeling optimistic towards Scientology anymore, it's like they're staying the course. Ooh, some of these people be having affairs with each other, y'all. The fuck? And also, this could be talking about the people in authority. Like, they might be cheating, or they might be very toxic. Like, what's that word? Say if we were like, say if I was your leader and we were in a cult, right? This is basically what this is. All religions are cults. That doesn't mean that, and being a cult doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It depends on the intention. But say if I'm the leader of the cult, right, and then you decide that you know kind of want to see what else is out there. Like, basically, they may have even taken the oath, but basically you're like, I know I took in the oath, but I feel like I've learned all I can learn here. I want to venture out somewhere else. And then me being the emperor in reverse, or a narcissist, or the devil, you know, because the devil card did come out, and I want to keep you binded. Like, no, you pledged to me, like you're supposed to stay here. Like, basically being very controlling. That's the type of energy I'm seeing. And to be honest with you, I feel like the leader, whoever they're looking up to, this emperor, is on drugs. Like, this is typical for a cult story. How many times have we heard this story in history? Fucking what, Jim Jones? Who else? Shit, that's the only one I could think of. But it's typical. A cult leader goes mad and he's like a drug addict or a drug abuser. Yeah. But there's a lot of sneaky, deceptive energy going on. And Spirit told me to keep pulling, but I'm like, I already have so many cards. But the Ace of Swords, and something will be exposed regarding Scientology. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be like the whole world is going to see, but I do see something ending when it comes to the Scientology. They might be on a fast or something, or they're like required to do something. I see a fast or like some sort of ritual that they do, and it may last for like 4 days. Something along the lines of like a fast or something, and or this could be a retreat that some may have went on, and you know you're supposed to, you know, kind of like they do spiritual retreats. Some cult leaders, they take a trip into the wilderness and, you know, find healing and grounding and things like that. I see, maybe see something like that, but it's something that they do like annually. It's like a ritual. I see something like that happening, and it's about to end. Something to do with the number 4. Who's gonna kill everybody? Leave it as fuck. A nigga telling on. Oh, that's enough of that. I can go on. My next question is, I have 2 in mind. Is Scientology evil? Is Scientology evil? Is Scientology evil? To be honest with you, well, okay. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so when I read about Scientology, I read that they teach 8 principles basically, and they stress survival. And they say, you know, basically they tell their followers, like, if you basically do whatever you must to survive, if you need to use animals, if you need to use magic, the spirit world, if you need to use, you know, like the elements or like planets, astrology, whatever you need to do, whatever you, if you're in survival mode and whatever you need to do to survive, do it. I think that, thank you, Spirit. It's an excuse. It's an excuse to be evil. It's like this religion. is an outlet to exercise evil. And whoever started this shit, it was like they manipulated their followers into like saying like, look, I may be bad, like I might harm children, but I must, because there is no God, and I'm God, and we're all creators, and we're all immortal, and we have many lives. It's like, it's almost as if this movement, this religion was based off of someone being bad, and then to basically counteract the criticism that they were getting, they indoctrinated a group of people into believing that whatever they're doing is good, because there is no God. They're God. They're a God. They're a creator. They're immortal. And I did read that Scientology also, you know, promotes procreation and sex. Like, and I wouldn't be surprised if this religion is sexist or misogynistic, and, you know, make it seem like men are superior than a woman. And I just wouldn't be surprised, because I see a whole lot of men in these cards. And when I did the energy check, there was only 2 cards that came out that have women on it, and the women looked like they were tied up and blindfolded. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a dynamic like that going on, even though they say they're inclusive of all genders and all ethnicities and all religious beliefs. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of discrimination going on. But listen, do I think that Scientology is bad? Yes. Because it basically indirectly, not directly, from what I read, kind of manipulates you into believing, like, if you feel justified in harming a child, if there's a legitimate reason as to why you should harm a child or put a hex on someone, whatever. If you feel justified, if you feel like you've been harmed, if you're in survival mode, then do it. That's, child. And also, I see a lot of money here. It has something to do with money. That's a good thing, because I'm seeing the black and white. It's a good thing I see that, because I was just about to ask, is Scientology like the Illuminati, and is Scientology and Freemasonry similar to one another? You know, they very much so, Scientology very much so pushes, like, only God could, like, no one can judge you but you, and, you know, like, you create your own destiny. And to be honest with you, that's pretty dangerous, because not everybody thinks the same, not everybody's morality is the same, and you could put 50 motherfuckers in the same room, and 10 motherfuckers could believe that, could, you know, be struggling battling some inner demons and, like, want to harm children, whereas another 10 are just want to just look to better their life, don't necessarily feel like, you know, want to bring harm onto others. And so, but when you have one leader, and this leader is teaching you, manipulating you into believing that, you know, we all have bad and we all have good inside of us, which is true. But when they use that truth and catapult you into this state of mind where you, how should I put this? To where you feel like you could be evil and not face any karmic retribution for it. It's dangerous. It really is. If that makes sense. Are Scientology and Freemasonry the same? Are Scientology and Freemasonry? No, they're not. But again, Scientology is like, it's a thing where they take different spiritual practices. And again, with this black and white here, I was just explaining that they do believe that dark energies cannot exist without light energies, and light energies cannot exist without dark energies. And that's a Masonic philosophy. So I do believe that they believe in that philosophy, but are they the same? No. Do they work together? Like, do Scientologists and Freemasons? They do. They do. What do they work together on? What do Scientologists and Freemasons work together on? Well, it has to do with media. It has to do with, yeah, it has to do with media. And honestly, I feel like, again, didn't I tell you, like, when I think of Scientology, I think of Tom Cruise. Like, I feel like there are entertainers that are Scientologists. And in that way, yes, they work together with Freemasons, because Freemasons, there's Freemason entertainers and there's Scientologist entertainers. Do they have beef with each other? No, I don't see that. It's more of like we're the same but different. Like, in that way, they share similarities in that way, because they both, their goal is money and success and recognition, and they both strive for those things. And being wealthy, they both strive for those things, but in a different way. That makes sense. And also, some of these entertainers are required to push agendas that the Freemasonry believes in pushing, or is in charge of making sure that the art is pushed, if that makes sense. Child. Is Scientology the Illuminati? You know what? I need to do a reading on the 13 families. But I want to do research, adequate research, before I do a reading on them. I want to just take my time with that reading, and I want to go into detail. So I have to take my time with that. But I want to. I most likely will. And I have to show my hands for that one. I have to. Because I feel like I hold your attention that way. We gonna sit and kill everybody. These bitches fuck everybody. Now I'm channeling Nicki Minaj. What is happening? All these bitches on my... Ooh, wait. Is Nicki Minaj a Scientologist? Hold on. Hold on a minute. Is Nicki Minaj a Scientologist, or does she believe in Scientology? Okay, so Nicki Minaj is like Beyonce. Nicki Minaj dibbles and dabbles into everything, you know? She has two things that she's mainly focused on when it comes to the spiritual world. And I feel like it is Freemasonry, you know, juggling. She's juggling two things. And I feel like they are spiritual practices. It maybe is Freemasonry, and I also feel like it has something to do with her culture. She may... I'm unclear about what Nicki Minaj is exactly, because one minute she wants to be Asian, she wants to be Harajuku, and the next minute she wants to be an island girl. I don't know what the cultural significance or the spiritual practices that are tied to, you know, her culture when it comes to Trinidad. But I feel like she juggles that spiritual practice as well as industry spiritual practices. Do I think she's a Scientologist? No. But I do think that she might be tied to Freemasonry somehow, some way. Do I think she's a Freemason? No, I don't. Because most Freemasons are men. And, I mean, there are Freemason organizations for women, but they don't have a seat at the table, to be honest with you. They're not, women, Freemason women don't sit with the big dogs. They don't. It's pretty much always been that way, to be honest with you. But of course, they started becoming more inclusive as time went on. And, you know, they made a little, you know, organizations for the women too. But the women don't necessarily have a seat at the table. But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's not a Scientologist, no. Is Scientology the Illuminati? Scientology shit? No, it's not. Mm-mm. To be honest with you, I think they have a with this Knight of Wands here. I mean, the Knight of Swords. I feel like they're tired of that word, Illuminati. To be honest with you, I honestly feel like it's more of like a reckless energy when it comes to the Illuminati. Like, I don't think they're anywhere near the Illuminati. They're more brash. They're more Scientologists. I mean, they're more brash. They're more open. They're more. And this could also be them hating their reputation and people thinking that they're tied to the Illuminati. I never thought that, to be honest with you. Again, it's not fair game because I didn't even know what the fuck Scientology was. But I heard the word, and of course I think of Tom Cruise. But I never really compared it to the Illuminati. But I don't think they like their reputation. That's what that is. And part of the reputation is people think that they're tied to the Illuminati, and they don't like that. But again, I think maybe people have voiced that before. People who are part of Scientology, they voiced, or people who had experience with Scientology, they're like, us and the Illuminati are not the same. Like, we hate that. We hate our reputation. I feel like something like that was said before. But yeah, I don't see that. To be honest with you, I know I told y'all I don't believe that the Illuminati exists. I have to do adequate research on the Illuminati in order to figure out what it is. Because, from other people, like Call Me Kinfolk, I've been watching a lot of his videos. He has good content. I suggest y'all go subscribe. But, he basically said like the 13 families are the Illuminati. But if I'm not mistaken, and this is where I need to do more research, the Illuminati was a separate organization. Are the people who started that organization, are they even related to the 13 families? If they are related to the 13 families, then I would say that the 13 families is the Illuminati. But if they're the same, no. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Illuminati was started by a separate person, a separate entity. Well, not entity, but separate person. And I honestly might do a reading on them and probably call their spirit and, talk to them, interview them or whatever, do a reading on them. But I don't know, y'all. This is a lot. Like, it's so overwhelming. Like, sometimes I wonder, like, do I even want to know the truth? Because it makes my head spin when I find out things and it's like, oh my God, like, I've been lied to my whole life, and I thought I went through this phase already. But the more you learn and the more you do research, it's like, oh my fucking God, it's like a cycle, Not like a cycle. It's just like it's something that's repeated. It's not something that happens just one time. But I guess if you dive deep enough, you're just like, okay, am I even surprised at this point? You become, sensitive. You become, what's that word? What's that adequate word? You become like, fuck, what's that word? I can't think right now. My brain don't work. Anyways, I think that is all. Desensitized. That's the word. Like 50 years later. You know what, y'all? I'm out. I'm gonna do a part 2. I'll see y'all later. Bye.